This is the Awesome Matt Podcast. I'm Austin.
This is Matt.
And this week we watched Josee, the Tiger and the Fish. But here we go real quick. So the movie follows Josee, a disabled 24-year-old, not 14-year-old. And I don't actually know how to say this guy's name because I watched it in Japanese. And I was like, that? Sunio. I'm going to go with that. An aspiring marine biologist who dreams of seeing a school of rare fish in Mexico. Agrees to be the caretaker of Josee to earn extra money for his trip. Through this employment, Josee discovers the realities of the outside world and faces her fears, or tigers, as she likes to think of them. After an accident involving Suno, in what could be the end of his diving dream, Josee uses her talents of art and storytelling to re-inspire Suno to keep pushing for his dream. The film ends with Suno finding Josee after she had gone missing and revealing his love for her. They share kisses under the snowfall and the credits roll. Matt, what'd you like about this movie?
Not a lot, Austin. I was not.
Damn it!
This is not my kind of movie. I'm sorry. No, it was okay. I think one thing I did enjoy about it actually was my wife liked it. This is something I got to watch because most of the movies we watch are not things my wife really cares to watch. So this is something that she was able to watch with me. She enjoyed it. It's funny. There was one time where I turned to her and I was like, this feels more like one of your K-dramas than it does an anime. And she was like, yes, this definitely feels like a K-drama. So she enjoyed it quite a bit. And that was nice to be able to watch something with her that she enjoyed. I did think it like animated beautifully, like holy cow. There were some shots in here that reminded me of The Garden of Words. Is that what it's called?
Okay.
Do you know what I'm talking about? Like that movie is one of the most like beautifully animated movies ever, and there were some shots in this that reminded me of that. So I was like, okay, like it looked really really good. That was definitely something to really enjoy about it. I did enjoy Suneo and Josee overcoming their hardships at the end. It was interesting and obviously like maybe a little bit pointed where it's like, oh, she's sad because she's in a wheelchair. Oh, he's in a wheelchair now. And but to see them both kind of like overcome that and everything work out, I was like, okay, I enjoy that. That's nice. I like that. But Austin, what did you like about it?
Yeah, it's funny that you reference this to kind of like K-dramas. So probably like the biggest difference between like Western culture and an Asian like romance is, in a lot of Western culture ones, like the kiss happens probably in like the first 30-45 minutes, and then there's some sort of breakup, and then there's them coming together. Whereas like in Asian culture, like they will hold off to the bitter end just for that kiss, and like then you just have to imagine what their life is like after that point. So like just the relationship starts so much faster in Western. But I really enjoyed how they explored not only like the physical boundaries, but also like the mental boundaries of what life is like in those situations. Like like a lot of it is her grandma perceiving these onto her, or kind of like forcing these realities, like it's dangerous outside, you can't do that, like you have to be protected, you have to make sure that like you're never going outside. So that's a lot of what her life is like, or how she's perceived. So she has very thick boundaries. I would honestly almost say she has like borderline disorder, where when people get close to her, she gets fearful that they're going to leave, like how her parents did. So she's very quick to push people back away and act like they're out to get her. So there was a lot of those, and like I love how she didn't actually understand that she made a friend until it was kind of explained to her as well. It's like, no, like you made a friend. That's actually how easy it is to make friends. It's not that reality that was set upon her of like nobody's out there for you, only family is. So that was nice. But also like the for main character Suneo, where he was always so positive, he was trying to do these things, and then once his life kind of like skipped and he didn't actually have like the drive and passion for his dream anymore, he did have a little bit of a depressive step, which is very common for those who experience an injury that is life altering, to where like specifically for like athletes, where like they can't be an athlete anymore. And for a lot of athletes, they only know how to be an athlete. School, academics, all that stuff is like back burner. I need to be okay with that, so that way I can be the world's best this. And then something happens and it's like, well, my life is over, it's meaningless at this point. And it's not true. There's tons of things to do out there. So I liked a lot of that. Also like the illustrated story that she did, compare and contrast, where the character in the perception was they didn't have legs, however they were given legs to move around, but the boy who came to save them still had a mobility above what they had, which was the wings in that case. And then he lost his wings, she lost her legs, but they're still happy at the end. So that was cute. However, I was a little disappointed in like the pictures that were drawn. I thought they were going to be a little bit better.
Yeah.
But
especially for like an animated movie where everyone has like a lot of really great artistic ability, like for them to be like, like she's trying to make a career out of this. I don't know.
Yeah, but then I also step back a little bit where it's like, well, I don't think they wanted to be too lifelike, or else like little kids aren't gonna like that. Like it's cool to have like a book be like lifelike, but then it's like when it's cartoon and like it's easier to understand based on how it is, like that also makes sense. So those are probably like the two biggest things for me, is just the exploration of mental physical health, as well as the story within the story that was created based on the realities that they faced. Thought it was pretty good. But Matt, since you didn't like a lot in this movie, I'm interested to hear what is it you did not like.
So one big thing, I thought that girl was annoying as hell. At least, obviously, like she got better in the end. But man, I don't think, and you're talking about the differences between like Western romances and this. Holy cow, there's no way you would make a character that annoying, like that infuriatingly frustrating, annoying as this girl was for like the first 3/4 of the movie. And you did mention like she probably has borderline personality disorder. She pushes people away, like that kind of makes sense. So I guess I understand a little bit more now, but she got super duper on my nerves for quite a while of it. I also thought she was 14. I was sure that she was younger, and then she ended up being 24, older than him. And maybe, I don't know, like maybe I'm making some generalizations, but maybe this is like an anime thing where like young girls are attractive, because that kind of happens in other animes. And so I thought maybe like they were going after that a little bit. I don't know. Also, let me just say too, like I was so much more of a fan of Suneo ending up with the other girl.
Oh, really?
I thought him and her were going to be good friends, and the other guy, his buddy, the other one who worked at the dive shop or whatever, I thought he was going to end up with her. Like he was going to go, I thought he was going to go on his dive trip and then come back, and there was going to be a romance between them, and then he was going to get with the other girl, and I thought like that would be the happy ending. And that's probably like my Western lens that I'm looking at it through. It was, and like speaking of K-drama, this was a bit melodramatic. Like it was a bit over the top. It was a bit like everything is so not, I mean, I guess life or death, but everything's just such a huge deal all the time, and everyone's feeling very high emotions about everything all the time. And so I got a little bit annoyed with that, but I mean, it wasn't terrible. It's not like I hated it. I just wasn't like in love with it. But what did you dislike?
Yeah. One thing that wasn't really answered, and I'm still trying to like think back into my mind, because so Suneo goes to try to find Josee, and her stuff's all packed up, and the perception at that point is like it almost seems like she's just trying to like delete herself from where she is, and like she's trying to like face the tiger for one last time, and like girl in a wheelchair out in the freezing cold, what are you hoping to accomplish at this point? It really seemed like she was going to end her life in that situation. At least that was my perception of it. It's like, whoa, she's not in a good spot. She's at this point where she feels like a burden to others, well, to pretty much the person that she cares about the most. For me, like that kind of betrays a lot of the development that she had built throughout the story, where it's she was afraid of everything, but now she's grown to get past those boundaries and she can do things for herself. She's created her first story, and like she's just barely at like the beginning steps of what her life could be, and yet we're gonna act like this character's kind of done with it. And the fact that like she falls in love with this boy at the very end, or that he says that he loves her, is gonna like save her at that point, that doesn't redeem those previous actions for me personally. So
yeah,
I would like to know a little bit more about that, but I'm not going to, and that kind of bothers me. The other one is they didn't have to do the grandma like that. Like that kind of sucked.
Well, when we saw the coffin, I was like, she's dead. And I thought it was the girl in the wheelchair had died. And my wife was like, are you serious? I was like, maybe. And then I was like, oh, I think it might be the grandma. She's like, no, that's not nice. I was like, oh yeah, it's definitely the grandma. Yeah, That was rough.
Yeah. It was like she got to see her granddaughter start to like get over her fears, get into life. She does like the little pose, and then she's dead, and it's just like, what the fuck? So I mean,
Yeah.
it's good for the story, but like it hurt the heart a little bit for me, and I could have gone without the grandma dying. But that's being picky. But honestly, like when I compare to this movie to, I'm gonna say like Your Name, things like that, it's not as interesting as those other movies. It's very much like down to earth romantic. I probably would have wanted like some sort of fantasy element added into it. That way it would be like a little bit more intriguing. My honest opinion was going to be that like I thought that she was going to be in a wheelchair on land, but like she was secretly like a mermaid, and he was gonna, like, point her out when she was diving.
I thought something like that might be the case. I was also I was sure that like there was going to be some kind of plot line where he was going to help her go diving despite her disability, and that would have been like this like freeing thing for her. Like I imagine something like that happening. So you did think there was going to be some kind of a fantasy twist here, and there was not?
I did a little bit, but
okay.
I'm not upset that there's not, but for what was going on, I just thought there was going to be a little bit more.